Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. One of the most common reasons why people visit the doctor is very common symptoms. You've probably experienced it before, and that's fatigue. Fatigue is like the number one symptom why people visit the doctor. And I had a couple of new patients just this week that fatigue was definitely part of their kind of symptom profile and things that they wanted me to address. And so I just thought I'd take a moment today to talk about some very simple strategies that you can start to think about if fatigue is something that you experience. First of all, fatigue really should be evaluated on an individual basis because fatigue can come from so many different things. It could be chronic infection, it could be hormone problems, it could be problems with the brain and brain function and metabolism, and there's so many things that you have to think about with fatigue. But just from kind of a more generalized standpoint, there's a few things that I thought I'd mention. One of the things is, if somebody's has a symptom of fatigue, have low energy, exhaustion, the next question always has to be, how's your sleep? Because there's a very common and very direct cause and effect. If somebody's getting poor sleep, then we're totally expecting them to have fatigue and low energy during the day because they're not getting enough refreshment and kind of regeneration of their body and brain. And so oftentimes fatigue is going to happen the next day. And this could be ongoing. People with insomnia oftentimes have also chronic fatigue. So this is something that, we definitely have to consider addressing. So I just want to give you three kind of general categories of things to think about. Diet, lifestyle, and targeted nutritional supplementation. So in the diet category, a very common problem that leads to fatigue is kind of imbalance in blood sugar metabolism, because most of the time people are consuming what I call a high garbage diet, garbage carbohydrates, these kind of, processed grains and these kind of processed carbohydrates. Remember, it's the processing of the carbohydrate that makes it toxic. It can really affect your whole blood sugar metabolism. It can lead to dysregulation, imbalance that could really affect your energy. We've talked in multiple episodes about the mitochondria being these little batteries, these little engines in all of our cells. And if there's an imbalance with these mitochondria, then the body's not going to be able to make ATP, which is the energy, the fuel for all the cells. And so there could be a mitochondrial issue, and diet's totally at the centerpiece of that. And we've known, and we've talked about in other episodes, kind of generally on this topic, that to really improve the function of our mitochondria, we're best built to have kind of a lower carbohydrate, let's call it moderate protein and higher fat diet. For average people, kind of some good general numbers to hit would be about 60% of your calories coming from fat. And this is high quality natural fat, olive oil, avocado oil, healthy animal proteins, these kind of things, macadamia nuts, different nut butters, all have good source of fats in them. So high fat, 60%, let's call it moderate protein, about 30% of your calories coming from protein, and then maybe about 10% carbohydrates. And then for the individuals, these could vary quite a bit from person to person. But that's just kind of a general percentages to kind of shoot from. And so, so diet definitely has to be a key centerpiece if fatigue is something that you're suffering from. And then under lifestyle, I've already mentioned it before, but sleep has to be a key priority. And there's lots of issues that we can think about with sleep, and I've even done some episodes on sleep and things that we can do to improve sleep. But just sleep as a general kind of lifestyle concept is so key for energy and fatigue. You got to make sure you're sleeping, 7 minimum, 7 to 9 hours would be more ideal. Kind of the classic 8 that you've always been told your whole life. 8 hours of sleep kind of is enough time to go through the right rhythms and a good combination of non-REM and REM sleep cycles every 90 minutes. And this is where we get a lot of the regeneration, repair, and kind of mechanisms that refresh the body. So that's on the lifestyle side. And then for the targeted nutritional supplementation, there's a whole variety of botanicals, different plant-based products that are really, really awesome for energy and fatigue. Let's say decreasing fatigue, increasing energy and stamina, and really improving our resistance to stress, which could be fatiguing for a lot of people. So there's a product that I'll mention in just a moment that has a whole blend of what we call adaptogenic herbs. This family of botanicals called adaptogens work in a whole variety of ways. And so I'm going to mention a few of those botanicals, and the name of this product is called SR Stamina from a company called Iogen. And SR Stamina is a whole blend of different botanicals. Hopefully that's coming out okay. But these botanicals, for most of them, have been in kind of human use and human medicine for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so I'll just pick out kind of my favorite two in there. Rhodiola is one of them. The full name is Rhodiola rosea, and rhodiola has a very long history of kind of human medicine and human performance. And there's an interesting constituent that's in rhodiola. It's called rosavins. Rosavins are they're called a phenopropanoid glycoside, and this phenopropanoid glycosides have some very interesting properties. When researchers study it, what they really find out is that they help to really boost your energy. And the way they do that is it's sort of anti-fatiguing. And so when they do this on human and animal studies, the length to fatigue is much, much longer. So whether a person is exercising, they've also measured it with mental fatigue. So it really helps to boost your mental and physical stamina and endurance. So rhodiola is pretty awesome, and most good forms of rhodiola supplementation are standardized to at least 3% of these rosavins, this really kind of active constituent in the rhodiola. So that's been pretty well studied, and it's been around for a very long time. Another one is called eleuthero. Eleuthero, the full name is Eleutherococcus senticosus. It used to be called Siberian ginseng, but then it was found out that technically it's not in the ginseng family, so we just call it eleuthero. And eleuthero has kind of a different constituent in it. It's called a triterpenoid saponins. These triterpenoid saponins have some very interesting effects. First of all, it's a really potent antioxidant. And we've talked about oxidation and kind of the damaging effect of excess oxidation in the body. So first of all, it's a strong antioxidant, but from an energy standpoint, eleuthero has been shown to be very also anti-fatiguing, similar to rhodiola, but it definitely boosts mental alertness, and it also increases sort of your resistance to stress. So these have been used, for a very long time traditionally and medicinally, and they were used for people who had to have a decrease of stamina. Maybe they're the hunters and gatherers of the tribe, or they're warriors, or people that just needed to have resistance to things like injury and infection. And so Eleutherococcus is really great botanical in this regard. So these are just two of the, there's probably 12 or 13 different botanicals. Each one, we can go down the list and talk about the really active, interesting ingredients that have been studied in this product. But as a product, this SR Stamina product is a very powerful blend of these adaptogenic botanicals that are very anti-fatiguing, help to boost mental alertness, and definitely decrease your resistance to stress. And we think that have a bolstering effect on the adrenal glands. Sometimes we call the adrenal glands the anti-stress glands or the stress glands, because they have hormones that are produced under times of stress, but sometimes they can get fatigued themselves, leaving a person kind of vulnerable to a decreased resistance to stress. And we know that these botanicals really help to bolster that. So, think about making some tweaks to your diet to improve blood sugar regulation. Definitely get your sleep. Minimum of 7 up to 9 hours would be ideal. And then SR Stamina, for most people, a couple capsules 2 times a day usually gives them enough of the of kind of the medicinal value of this blend of herbs that there's great medicine in nature. We're out here in nature, and I've walked right by multiple interesting plants that can be used medicinally, but there's just great medicine out here and just kind of in nature. But it's kind of a lost art, and unfortunately it's being lost in history as the pharmaceutical companies have a lot more money and power, and so they put forth their concepts over a lot of the botanical medicine, but knowing that probably about 25% of pharmaceuticals really have their origin in botanical medicine. So anyhow, I hope you found that interesting. I'll keep reading the studies and bringing you the information. Until then, keep it real.